Doing a knife channel's hard. There's so many knives you want to do, but not quite enough money or enough subscribers for the knife makers you want to do you back. You're like, what'd it do? Knife bro problems, right? So how about the Spyderco PM2 or Paramilitary 2 in two flavors, grape and commando? You're like, commando? How'd you know? One is easier to lose in the jungle and the other in a field of beautiful flowers. It's no exaggeration to say people fucking love the Paramilitary 2 because it's a great big, ergonomically friendly knife that doesn't weigh as much as it should. So let's go over the overall length. The blade size. The cutting edge. The handle size. The handle grip area. With and without the choil. The handle thickness. The spine thickness. And the weight. I don't have to do that special effect where I have to do a split screen anymore on this one. Now the dimensions on these two versions are identical, but I do have two for a reason, and it's not just because I have a problem with buying copies of the same knife. The camo has been carried for a while and considered broken in, and the Prince colored one is brand new. So how does a new one feel, and how does a broken one in feel? Hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it in this review, or I'll just ramble for another 15 minutes about nothing. The main difference between the two models is the blade steel, the color of the G10 scales, and one has DLC or downloadable content, which has driven up the prices of games that... Sorry, I thought I was on my gaming channel for a second. DLC stands for Diamond-like Carbon Coating. Both knives are made in the US of A. Okay, the Camo Paramilitary 2 has a CPM S30V blade steel. The Blurple model uses an S110V steel. Both steels are fairly corrosion resistant and hold an edge pretty well. Now, I've read a few places online saying the S110V holds an edge longer, but that was on an online forum, so someone else instantly had a different opinion about it. Anyway, both blades are sized identically and are a flat ground drop point blade style. Like most people, I prefer just a naked blade, but some people like a murdered out, and there's nothing wrong with that. Spyderco's DLC does hold up quite well though. This one is about 1.5 to 2 years old, although I'm really uncertain how much actual batoning was done with this knife. Must have been an amateur outdoorsman and not a YouTube one. Okay, so here's where the Paramilitary 2 gets good, but not necessarily this review. And you're like, finally, someone's agreeing with me. The knife is all about deployment, lock, and handle ergonomics. The deployment is as smooth as butter, or, whatever you want to put there. A flick of the middle finger and boom, you don't have to hit it hard at all. Now the Grape Ape version is brand new. Deployment was slightly stiff at first, ever so slight. A nearly imperceptible turn of the pivot screw got rid of all the stiffness. That slight turn on the Blurple model also helped make the lock disengagement much better. More like the broken in camo version. The PM2 uses a compression lock locked on the spine. Now a broken in version like the camo, the blade falls downward when you press the lock. It's actually really nice. Now that I adjusted the Grape Ape model, so does that one. So a flick, a press, and the disengagement. The knife deploys and closes back up so easily. Now comes the handle. Since I regularly carry the Endura 4, I'm used to the exceedingly long handle on that model. There's always extra room, even for larger hands. The Paramilitary 2 has a handle that isn't quite as long, but it's as long as it needs to be. It's about the perfect size for my hand, even without using the choil. The choil is slightly shallower than on my Sage 5, but that knife almost requires you to use it because the handle is smaller. It has jimping on the blade spine near the spider hole to give you traction when you're doing heavy cutting, and a little on the choil too. Now the handle itself is made from G10, which I prefer to my Endura 4's FRN handle. It has a skeletonized stainless steel liner and an open back design that helps save weight because it's not a gonzo. Now the back has a hole for your paracord fashion accessory, so that's important too. So how about that pocket clip? It's 4 positionable, so it should please everyone. Tip up, tip down, blade forward, blade backward, whatever. Unless you're a person who has to make up a reason as to not to buy something. I'm waiting for the 4K Mossy Oak model with holographic deployment and diagonal clip configuration, but hey, if I had the money right now, I'd get this one. Okay, so let's do some cutting. The Paramilitary 2 comes razor sharp out of the box like you'd expect a Spyderco 2 by now. So let's tear up a box first like it's said something about your paw. Or an aunt sent another plastic thing that flashes for her niece. Anyway, the PM2 is pretty easy to hold when you do this. One thing to note is the camo one's G10 isn't quite as rough as the Blurples now. Now, since the camo version is a loaner knife, I can't say how much the G10 has worn away, as the camo model doesn't have a lot of visible wear. Again, needs more batoning. Okay, how about some sticks? The S30V on Spyderco's usually hold the edge quite some time before sharpening them. The S110V isn't really that different, I mean in short-term testing. Since I'm keeping the Blurple version now, I'll have to see over time. Both edges hold quite well though. I tested a PM2 clone in the past, and that edge, while easy to sharpen, dulls pretty quick. I'll do a comparison video of those two in the future. So let's wrap it up. Oh, sorry. Let's wrap it up. I see you're already asleep. The PM2 is an awesome folder. The Ergonomics set it apart from all other knives quite a bit. It's easy to hold and cut with over long periods of time. It has just the right amount of jimping for heavier use, but also it's lightweight. It's a good mid-size to large folder without being exhausting to use. Anyway, if you like this review, subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, and leave a comment. This knife is a loaner from a subscriber who also helps run a cool Spyderco Facebook group, which I'll link in the description below. So thanks to him for sending me a few knives to review and beat up a little bit, and thanks for watching.